Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Mama K here. And really quickly, because I'm not trying to hold you long. Last week for me was very stressful. I have a lot going on personally and professionally. And so I made it a point, and it was yesterday, to just shut it all down and then just have a day of just reading, relaxation, and just really reflecting. And I have to say, I enjoyed every bit of just being able to read and do nothing else. It allowed me to be able to complete one book that I absolutely ate down and loved how it ended. Pick up a book that I've been holding on to and it's been on my shelf since 1996. And it is a profound book, but also get into and reread a book that is a classic that I don't remember, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't because now reading it at my old age, I realized some things about women folk. So, what am I talking about? Well, let's get into it. So, first thing first, shout out to Three Sisters in One Book Club. We are in the process of reading and finishing up Real by Kennedy Ryan. And I've already finished the book, but I have to say it was an amazing experience reading Kennedy Ryan for the first time. And with this book in particular, it just left me feeling very nostalgic and peace, and at peace, I should say. But Blood Slaves by Marcus Redmond was one of the books that I finished up. I had initially started reading his book some time back, but I put it down because I had other books that I was trying to read and finish. And I'm glad that I circled back to finish it because it was getting really good. The book was already wild as hell. I'm just going to tell y'all that right now. And y'all, anybody who knows me know I don't like to do a lot of slave narratives. I stopped doing that years ago. But this one in particular, the slave folks got their lick back. They not only got their lick back, but there was a lot that they desired and wanted to get free of and to also have, and it all came to fruition. And the slave masters and the overseers got they comeuppance. They got what they deserved. This is the type of slave narrative that if we're reading, I want to be a part of it. I want to know what that experience looked like. I want to make sure that my people on the end are okay. And this book ended the way that it was supposed to be, and it ate down. And it's not released yet because it was an arc read for me, but it's coming out. And I highly encourage that anybody who loves paranormal, historical fictions, or, slash suspense, check it out. It's called Blood Slaves by Marcus Redmond. Um, the other book that I read, and shout out to my girl Erica, she is one third founder of Three Sisters in One Book Club. And sometimes we'll do buddy reads together amongst the three of us, and sometimes with just a few of us or with other of our friends. But Erica and I did the buddy read for Sula by Toni Morrison. And y'all, this was the book that I had read before, but couldn't remember it. And I think I read it when I was traveling in 90, it would have been 95 in Europe. And I read it and couldn't remember it. So I reread it with her just so that I can kind of refresh my memory. And y'all, when I tell you my young self would have read this book and been like, oh, okay. But my older self has reread it, is like, what the hell? Because Sula was out here wilding. But what I've come to know about characters like Sula is that they sometimes they only act how they are, how they know how to act, because Sula was the third generation of women who pretty much did not have men folks in their life, did not rely on men folks in their lives as far as like being there to steady the home. And ultimately they were all selfish, only cared about themselves, and really never gave much to society but hell. Sula was no exception when all is said and done. And she was not beloved, but not liked. Okay. So Sula was a good read. It was a strange read for me, but it was a good read. And I only rated it a 4 instead of a 5 because I didn't like the way that the book ended. But I'm not going to spoil it for you all. But I did write a short review. So if you're on Substack, you can find me as Mama K Reads there. Or if you're following me on TikTok, or if you're not, you can read the review of Sula on TikTok as well. Now, this last book that I read, it's by Nawal El Sadawi. It's Woman at Point Zero. Y'all, this book right here is probably the most powerful book I've ever read, and it's only 108 pages. And when I tell you, the journey that the main female character goes through from a very young adolescent age up until, I want to say, 25 or 30, and what she endured with each of the men in her life as a child, but then also when she makes that transition to become a prostitute, the type of men that she was dealing with and how she had to literally fight to own her body, her the autonomy of her body, but then also when that no longer worked and they found ways to be able to suppress her freedom, the very last thing that she did that allowed her to get free was in death. And that's powerful because if you cannot enjoy life and you don't see yourself as free, and the only way to do that is to end your life, that says a lot. And it made me realize something about the men of certain generations. That would be the silent generation, baby boomers, and Gen Xers, that they were terrible motherfuckers. And that they knew that the world was going to protect them and they had laws in place that protected them, but vilified everybody else, specifically women. And so if you need something to read, especially with it being Women's History Month, I would highly encourage you to read Woman at Point Zero by Nawal El Sadawi. She is an Egyptian writer, doctor, and militant revolutionary who just did an amazing job at writing the story about Furtis. And yeah, that is my reading journey for the week. And I can't wait to share with you all next week what else I'm going to be reading because I'm sure it's going to be powerful. I mean, I'm looking at the screen right now, and one of the books that got recommended to me, I can't wait to jump back into it. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I will catch up with you soon. Peace and blessings.